Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Sixpoint Brewery, and they are out of Brooklyn, New York, and this is the Crisp. So, they're calling this one a Pils, and what this is a German-style Pilsner that comes in at 5.4% alcohol by volume, 44 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just over 3.5 months old, and it also has a best by date of November 10th of 2024, and we're just under 2.5 months away from that date. So, according to the brewery, we should be more than good to go. So, full disclosure, I've had this one a couple times before. The last time I had it was in the mid-2010s. Wasn't a huge fan, but then again, back then, I really wasn't digging on lagers as a whole, let alone a German-style Pilsner. Last couple years, I've been really digging lagers in general. So really looking forward to revisiting this one and seeing what it's like. Let's crack it open, get in the glass, see what we got going on. So 44 IBUs, a little bit on the higher side for a German-style Pilsner, Pilsner, really of almost any kind, but we'll see. I don't remember this one being like super hop forward or bitter or anything, so I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how this one lands. Like I said, it's been a while. Got a good pour going on. Throw this over here like that, and we will look at the beer. So is that a Pilsner? Is that a lager? Is that something that should be clear beer? Yeah, and it is. You can see my hand through it. You can make out my fingers. Great clarity, hold it up to light. Yeah, beautiful, good carbonation. About 1.5 fingers of a straight up white colored head. Looks somewhat soap sudsy, but a little bit of like a creamy look to it. It has more of that like straw golden color. Yeah, I mean, it looks, listen, if you hand me this and you say this is a lager, it's a Pilsner, whatever, sure, all day, every day. So plays the role appearance-wise. It's a good nose. Nice. So with Pilsners, and more specifically German-style Pilsners, I always find they're a little bit more dry and bitter, a little bit more intense. That's why I prefer Czech style. I think it's a little bit more in my wheelhouse. However, the aromatics on this is really nice. A lot of crackery, bready malt, more of like a sourdough or like a slight, like almost rye kind of spiciness to this one. Big, herbaceous, and grassy hop tones. Underlying like a lemon or maybe a lime citrus, some orchard fruit, like a red apple, like a sweet red apple. Has a little bit of that lager funk that you look for when it comes to lagers. I'll be honest with you, like the 44 IBUs, now a lot of times, you know, I talk about IBUs in my reviews very infrequently, but I always mention the IBUs of every beer that I review, whether they're listed or they're not or whatever. And more often than not, at least nowadays, so many things have changed that like IBU ratings I don't think are all that accurate. Never really have been in terms of like bitterness because there's so many other factors that go into a beer. However, this does smell like it's close to 50 IBUs. There is a nice hop presence here. Seems like it's going to have a bittering kind of component to it. But it smells like a really nicely made and brewed German-style Pils. I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody. Should I say Prost? Damn solid. Damn solid. That's actually really nice. What I like about it, there's enough sweetness to combat that bittering, dry hop punch on the finish. Like it has a good balance to it. The mouthfeel is a little bit thin, a little watery. It's not what I expect out of a German-style Pils. I want a little bit, like more of like a approaching medium body. This is like higher side of light, maybe lower side of medium. So a little bit thin and watery. That concerns me a little bit as far as the body is concerned. Mouthfeel is really nice, super effervescent and crisp on the palate. Very clean as well. It's very refreshing, but it's also, there's an intensity to this one where I feel like if I drink a couple cans of this, I'd be done with it. Where I feel like a German-style Pils, I want a drinkability that represents the style and the ABV. And I think this is a little bit more hop character that I'm accustomed to for the style. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm sure some of you will like it. Like I said, German, and again, this is based on preference and what I have experienced over the years of drinking German-style Pils and Czech Pils and like American Pils and whatnot. I always found German Pils to be a little bit more dry and bitter. and have a little bit more of that herbaceous, like kind of grassy, almost floral note. There's almost like a, again, herbaceous spiciness too on the palate, but this definitely leans more hop forward. Anyway, body, bit thin, mouthfeel appropriate, taste right at the forefront, crackery malt, dives underneath the palate, omnipresent with you the entire way, but kind of just, propping up the rest of the characters after that. A little bit of like a lemon and even a touch of like a, yeah, I'd say a lime, like a lemon lime, almost very slight. There's also this sourdough rye kind of breadiness, almost a slight spiciness that hits on the back that reminds me kind of a rye bread. Midway through the palate, orchard fruits, and more specifically like a red apple, like kind of like a overripened red apple, a little bit sweeter. There is a nice sweet malt character throughout, and on the finish, it finishes more of a, we'll say, spicy herbaceousness with like a little bit of a grassy kick. This one finishes moderately bitter with a semi to full-on dry kind of character that's just kind of like lingering there. 5.4%, you can't tell, and based on the body, I might think this is sub 5%. So what do we got going on here? Well, we have some really nice glass lacing, and I think this is a damn solid beer overall. I'm crushing this. The problem is, about halfway through the can, or maybe like a third of the way through the can, and it's almost like I'm drinking like a IPL or like a dry hopped lager, where there's a real moderate kind of bitterness and hop character that's lingering on the palate with that dryness. And I feel for the style, it needs a little bit more balance for me to absolutely love it. I would say if you like dry hopped lagers or like IPLs, this would be right in your wheelhouse because it has a good hop character. And I just think like that's kind of where this one lands more so than a straight up like German-style Pils or Pils of any kind, really. They don't specify German-style Pils, but like on Untappd and talking about the different ingredients and whatnot, it definitely screams German-style Pils. Anyway, I think this is really nice. It's good, but it could have been very good to great if not for a little bit of a better body. Need a little bit more substantial kind of character from the body, because I don't review a lot of thin and watery beers, and this definitely has a thin and watery kind of feeling to it. And then just tone down the hop character a little bit, and I think the balance would be there for me to really, really love this one. As is, again, I think it's good. Could have been great. So I'm going to give 6 points, The Crisp, their Pils. I'm between a high 3.75 and a low 4. You know what? Because I do like the characteristics, I'm going to give this a low 4. I'm going to give this a 3.9 out of 5. I think that's kind of where this one lands for me. A 3.9 out of 5. Not, the best German-style Pils I've ever had, not the best Pilsner by a long shot, but I think it's a nice beer. Those two things, a little bit thin and watery and tone down that hop kind of character. Just like, I like it that it's there, but there needs to be just a little bit more balance for me to really give this like a high 4 until like a low 4.25. But I think it's nice, and I would definitely recommend folks try this one out if you've never had it before. Price point availability. In my neck of the woods, I've seen this either $10.99 or $11.99 six-pack, so talking less than $2 a can. I think that's really nice. If you see, I'm assuming this comes in 12 packs, if so, you're probably looking in the 20 and under range, which I think would be a really good value. And like I said, if you like a little bit more hop forward lagers as a whole and hop forward pilsners, like I would say seek this one out. Just be forewarned that the hop character is more of like what you would normally associate with the German Pils, so it's kind of, to me, a little bit overwhelming for what it is. Availability is 6 Point. If you see 6 Point, this is one of their year-round offerings, so you should see this one, along with their resin and what else do they have? They have a bunch of different beers out there, but that's where you'd probably see this. I'm not saying for sure you'd see it if you see 6 Point, but you should. You should, but we all know distribution's weird. On here it says, in ancient beer caves near the foot of the Alps, this beer came calling. European hops and German malts make for a legit Pils with a snappy hop aroma, yes, that's as refreshing as the mountain air. Now that's crisp. Yeah, I mean, that snappy hop aroma has translated into the taste, and I think while I do enjoy it, it's just stylistically, it's a little bit too much, at least in my opinion. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. This one's been around for as long as I remember Sixpoint being around. This is like one of the, I don't say one of the first beers, probably one of the like first half dozen beers that I remember trying from them, and it's definitely better than I remember, but again, my palate's in a different place. So, and like I said, 5.4%, I think it's actually drinks a little bit lower than that just because of the body being thin. So again, if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. Cheers. Prost.